Joining us. Tonight, we're going to hear information about the next phase of design for the replacement for OTC Westside campus. The new campus is set to open adjacent to Ocoee High School in 2023. A few housekeeping notes about how this meeting will work tonight. Attendees are automatically muted with cameras off. Please use the Q&A tool to ask questions. You can ask questions at any time, but we may not get to address your question until the Q&A portion at the end, after the presentation. The chat is available as a backup if you can't get the Q&A to work, but we do look at the Q&A first. The video icons that you see are panelists who are available to answer questions today. Benjamin, could you move to the agenda slide, please? I'll be introducing everyone shortly. If you have any technical issues with the platform, you can reach WebEx support at 866-229-3239. I've also put that phone number into the chat. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the OCPS Facilities Communications YouTube page tomorrow, as well as sent out as a link to attendees and people who registered and weren't able to attend. The presentation slides that you're about to see are actually already posted at facilities.ocps.net and on board member Melissa Bird's page at ocps.net under School Board. So today, we're going to hear about the partially complete design of this school. We're at the 60% design point. Some of you are probably curious about the current OTC Westside site. Options are being looked at, but there's nothing settled for that site. We are planning to have a separate meeting specifically about that site later in this year. We're currently targeting November for that meeting, so please do watch out for information about that. We will not be addressing that at this meeting today. Orange County Public Schools and our county partners on the project's design and construction team have sent representatives to answer questions today. Before I introduce them, let's turn things over to your District 7 board member, Melissa Bird, for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Lauren. I want to, first of all, welcome all of you to our 60% design meeting, community meeting for our new Westside Tech campus. We are so appreciative to those of you that took time out of your day to spend with us a little bit tonight to take a look at what we have, the group has envisioned for this tech campus of the future, we like to call it. It truly has been a collaboration. I know our architect has worked closely with our associate superintendent of career and technical education, and they are designing this campus to be a fantastic place for all of our students to be able to get the skills and attain the skills that they need to be successful. So I want to thank our team and our staff from OCPS for your tireless effort on getting everything ready for tonight's meeting. And I want to thank our architects on this job, DLR Group, for all your work. I can't wait to see the plans that you have in store for our students. We all know how important career and technical education is, especially at providing a successful pathway for many of our kids and a new pathway for many of our adults in our community. So this campus is important. All of our tech campuses are important. I'm very excited that the Westside Tech gets to be one of the first new ones that we get to do. So that's always exciting. We're excited about our new location. Right near the high school. It's going to be so convenient for so many of our students to be able to get there and get training that they are looking for. So I think that's enough talking from me. I want to see what we have in store. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you, Lauren. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Board Member Bird. And I think hopefully people will be really excited by what they see. I think this is going to be a really innovative campus and, like you said, home to some really exciting things. So as you mentioned, we have Associate Superintendent for Career and Technical Education, Melanie Stefanowicz, on the call, as well as Parker Antoine, who's the Senior Marketing Administrator for CTE. As Melissa mentioned, the architect is DLR Group. We have Benjamin Strain, the lead designer, Lindsay Perez, the Senior Project Manager, Susan Pendergraft, the Senior Project Architect, and Arlen Gill, Architect. The construction manager for this project is Wharton Smith. And representing Wharton Smith tonight, we have Tom Widener and John Lyons. The civil engineer on this project is Jake Klima of Klima Weeks. Traffic engineer is Rick Baldacchi of Avcon. And some of their findings will be worked into the presentation. We did get some questions ahead of time, and so you will see responses to some of those questions built into the presentation. From the OCPS facilities team, we have project manager Tamara Cox, and I definitely want to make sure that you guys got to know that name because she's the person who connects OCPS and the students and the staff with the architect and the construction manager to make sure that the school ends up being the vision that was planned. From our planning, design, and construction teams, we have design manager Mo Arthur, director of construction planning Jesma Lambert, and senior facilities director Faz Ali. I'm the senior manager for facilities communications, and from our facilities planning team, we have Christopher Mills, and I think I saw Stephen Thorpe may have come on too. From our OCPS operations department, we have Adam Zubritsky from transportation, if there are any questions for that department. From the fire marshal, we have Mike Ennist, and we're expecting OCPS Police Commander Jamie Alberti. Now, lastly, before I hand things over to Associate Superintendent Stefanowicz, I do want to mention we also have a number of our municipal partners on the call today, and I very much appreciate them being on. We have some representatives from Ocoee. I'm aware of Mike Broomer and Rosemary Wilson. I know there's some Orange County government staff, Diana Almodovar, Christina Pichardo Cruz, and I think we might have some Orange County commissioners on as well. And if I've missed anybody, I'll try to catch you the next time I'm up. So on that note, let me hand things over to Associate Superintendent Stefanowicz to just talk a little bit about what OTC is, and then Benjamin will talk about the plans.
Thank you, Lauren. Orange Technical College has been providing high-quality career and technical education to Orange County residents since 1933. We have a rich history of changing lives through education, and over the years, we have grown and evolved our programs based on local labor market needs. This new facility will be Orange Technical College's next iteration of growth and involvement to meet current state-of-the-art industry needs. Slide, please. We have 5 campuses, Winter Park and Avalon, Orlando, Mid-Florida, and Westside. Each of them has career sectors that will be offered, programs will be offered in specific career sectors at each site. At the Westside campus, we'll be focused on the construction trades, welding, apprenticeship, human services, and adult education. The other campuses will focus on some industrial. Orlando will be health science, and Winter Park will be our IT campus. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Melanie.
Yeah. Thank you all, and good evening to all. Again, my name is Benjamin Strain. I'm a lead designer and architect for DLR Group. Welcome everyone here this evening. Just want to take a step back quickly. We know this project started almost 2 years ago in the summer or spring of 2019. And during that time, we really believe in a very rich engagement process. We really look to all those involved in the design process, in this vision for the new campus to really have a voice. And so during that time, this is just one of our rich engagement exercises that we had with community members, with OTC, with OCPS, students, staff, faculty, industry partners. And so again, this is just a wonderful visioning board that we like to share. It provides some of our guiding principles or big ideas that we'll be sharing throughout tonight's presentation. And so on the right side is just kind of highlighting some of those larger ideas that really rose to the top. Certainly safety and security, thinking about identity and branding. We want this campus to be very welcoming to all. There's a community component to this campus, not only industry partnerships, but there's a wonderful front door where you, the community, can have a haircut. You can have facials, nail. There's a great human service outreach there. So please support the students in their education. We want this building to last, right? We want it to be a tool for hands-on and learning on display, as we say. Thinking about, again, future flexibility, adaptability. We want to put our investment into this building as a community and for the success over the longevity of the student success for the community success. So just wanted to highlight a few quick as we go through some of those program adjacencies, some of the decisions made on site, and some of the, again, program elements and some of the great goals of the project. As Lauren had mentioned early on, as the team had mentioned, the Westside campus is moving. We do not have plans for the existing campus at this time. That's going to be discussed at a future date. And so that's shown in orange. And I have this great tool. It's a highlighter here. So I'm going to be moving around the screen a little bit with my laser pen here in red. And so again, the existing Westside campus is here in orange. And the new campus is shown in blue, right adjacent to the high school. And just a wonderful synergy that we look to explore there, as well as some great visibility off of the 429 loop. So again, the old site will be moving on. Don't have plans yet, but I know there'll be some rich discussion here in the future. So taking a little bit deeper dive, we're not quite at the site yet, but we just want to highlight some of those adjacencies. A really rich discussion that we had as a team, as part of the stakeholders and community, was this idea of visibility and brand identity, right? We went back to some of those big ideas. And so there's a really great opportunity to have that high level of visibility, really provide those pathways for student community along the 429 here, as well as, again, the additional access to the high school and the bike path here. We have the Ocoee Road coming in here. I know there's some questions that we'll take a deeper dive into the next slide. So just helping everyone orientate themselves. We're zooming in. On the next slide, we're going to go line item by line item on the left and talk about what that's going on the right. So first, what is the capacity of the campus? This is a career technical education college. And so it's not that typical bell ringing at 8 a.m. and bells ringing at 3 p.m., right? This is a very active campus throughout the day. It can hold up to just over 1,100 student stations at one time. But we think back to that higher education model. There's going to be various classes and various programs throughout the day, right? So it's not going to be that large rush, at 8 a.m., but really it's going to be a trickle students throughout the day. Just want to take a quick moment to explain kind of some of the graphics in the site plan before we talk about anything else, okay? So the building, the actual building footprint, the physical building, is shown here in a light brown. So we'll see that outline here. Then any courtyard, so any courtyard that has landscaping, paving, gravel surface is really in this light gray that we see throughout. The canopies are shown in a blue here. The surface parking and roadways are shown in a gray. And then the natural vegetation and the green area is a hybrid of reseeded lawn, as well as we worked very diligently to maintain as much vegetation as we could, those native trees that we see here on site today, and that's in green. And then again, this wet pond or retention water management here is in blue. So as we talk about that, we're going to go through, I'll continue to use the laser pointer, but just want to point out some of those colors along the way. So again, around 1,100 students on campus at full capacity, but we know that that schedule varies throughout the day. If we look at parking, let's first talk about site entry. So again, the main entrance here, shown in the upper right, as I circle with the laser pointer, is off the Ocoee Road. This both has a dedicated left turn lane and right turn lane in. There is not a dedicated signal. The traffic studies showed that a signal was not needed and perhaps could cause actually a risk or in conflict with the bike trail crosswalk. And so again, dedicated left turn in, dedicated right turn in, however, it is not under signal. Once on site, again, there's this great visitor parking. We want to welcome the community and industry partners to the campus. And part of that, again, is welcoming the visitor is the idea of using the salon, barbering, and nail salons for students' education, right? We want to invite the community in, have wonderful services, let the students grow, and so they can hone their skills as in their human service pathways. Additional student parking and staff parking are onto the west side of the building, along with the bus loop. So if we go to the bottom of this page, we can see a dedicated bus entrance. And again, they come in and they loop around and they drop off at this yellow triangle. And the buses then proceed south. So we have dedicated vehicle entrance and dedicated bus entrance, and certainly the vehicle entrance again has those two left lane in and right lane in dedicated lanes. The bike access is available. We do have bike locks available, or bike mounting for locks here along the bus loop, as well as the blue dot. It signifies that connection to the bike trail and the Ocoee High School. Again, really, if you want to look at the anything we do to save the trees on site today, we have a large growth of trees here highlighted just north of the main entrance and to the south here, as I'm highlighting, as well as this large grove here that we see for future expansion, future parking. There is impact to tree through site grading and water management we see here in the pondings, as well as the overall building footprint, but we did work to maximize that. In addition, current investigation of the trees to be removed do not have any eagle's nests in this location. Lastly, on the page, again, want to highlight future expansion. There's really two ideas of future expansion or scales. Future expansion immediately adjacent to the building, so this would be in addition to the current buildings. That would be the building expansion as needed by OTC and OCPS, as well as perhaps campus expansion, whether there was a need for future growth where an additional separate building could be, could be built on site. Again, just that reminder along the 429, we're looking for that high visibility. So currently there is no sound barrier there. The 429 is elevated on a berm above our site first floor. And so the sound will dissipate toward that, as well as we do want to balance that with that visibility. We want to create that front entryway as a billboard for OTC, really celebrate those career technical trades and pathways and education there. The construction trade courtyards themselves do have some high noise to them, as well as students have a very hands-on experience. And going to the next slide, just a few more statistics on the site. Overall construction budget is $42.3 million. But we did really want to take a focus into some sustainable measures. And so the design is based on the Green Globes rating, thinking about really the connections of daylight. We see that here. We want to maximize that through our design. We really want that strong connection to nature. We want to think about that indoor air quality for our students and our community members. We want to optimize that building envelope performance. And part of that is a great addition to our roofscape, or our roof plan, which are the solar energy panels or the solar photovoltaic cells you may hear. And so, again, that's an effort to reduce our carbon impact and some of the energy use that we see from our large welding booths and some of the construction trades here on campus. Before we go to the floor plans, just really want to, again, quickly highlight some of the amazing pathways we see here on campus. So under architecture and construction, we have welding, we have heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration, or HVAC. We have electrical and very hands-on building construction and carpentry trades. They're building mini houses on trailers. It's a wonderful program. In both indoor, outdoor construction. It's absolutely amazing to see. And of course, getting our young students into the workforce, right, through those apprenticeships. And then under human services and personal care, we have cosmetology, barbering, nail salon, advanced aesthetics, and facials. And at the hub of this campus, really great, again, thinking about the administration needs for a successful campus. A rich event center, inviting, again, public events, thinking about those industry partners coming, showing students the pathway and the success they can have in their careers. Hybrid or flexible labs, these are kind of the do-all spaces. We're not sure where technology wants to go next, and so we want to create these very robust, all-they-can-be labs. We have, again, that construction yard where there's hands-on amenities and students are working hard. There's a wonderful sand pit, a bury and on-bury pipe. It's a very active courtyard there. Student commons with a grab and go. And of course, as mentioned, the campus has an overall brand and statement, learning on display for the students, and that solar panel array on the roof. So let's go to the first floor plan. So main entrances are identified with red arrows. And so again, starting here at the lower central area, this large red arrow, that's the main entrance. And that enters into an administration suite. This is where you'll check in as a visitor to campus. If you're going directly to the salon services, you will actually come through the blue arrow, a little bit down the way to the right. Again, this is where you can have barbering, salon, nail, facials. This is a wonderful lab for students to really get hands-on training and serve the public. Immediately off that is our student commons and grab-and-go food, which then opens up to a wonderful courtyard. And this courtyard really is about creating those casual collisions among the different pathways and career pathways for the students, where a human service student can meet a construction lab student and discuss and learn and grow. Loading onto that courtyard as well is our event space, and again, that hybrid flex lab for the future. We want to have that lab there and really address what's next. Just off that courtyard are also 2 large classroom wings, and there's actually classrooms above, creating a rich canopy for students to hang outside when there are the rains on those heavy rain days. And to that left of that is the large construction labs, as well as that courtyard as mentioned before. So very hands-on, very active place for welding, for HVAC, for carpentry and electrical. And then the north arrow, just this little guy here, that's actually the entrance for students, both from bus, parking, and the staff entry. So moving to the second floor, again, we see a real rich bar of classrooms, again, thinking about creating that community. And those classrooms have views down to the construction courtyard, as well as the more student commons courtyard, more that casual studying interaction. Held together again is this hub of administration with conference rooms, with workforce offices to really energize the students and connect them to those industry partners. And lastly, additional human service. So again, barbering, salons, nails. This is where the first year students practice before they move downstairs and interface with the public. So really hands-on spaces for the students, just separated by that level. And you may notice these real little light gray squares all along the roofs below. Those are the solar panels. There are just a few of them, and there's more above the classroom and administration bars here. So let's move into the schedule. As mentioned, this program started in the summer of 2019, and we are currently at 60% design, working toward a completion of design documentation in spring of 22. Construction will start then summer of 2022, and the project opening will be in spring of 2024. And Lauren, let's move into any questions.
Sure. And just before we hop into the questions, just a couple points I wanted to make for anyone who hopped on late. One is that if you're interested in what's happening with the old campus, there aren't any firm plans on that yet. And so there is an intent to come back to the community in November when there are some proposed plans. So please do watch out for an invitation and information on that. And second, this meeting is our 60% design. So we'll answer your questions here today, but we will come back once more to show you the final design before construction starts. And right now we're thinking that meeting will probably time out in about May. So at this point, I wanted to address a few questions that came in that I think some of them were answered in the presentation, but let's go through them anyway, just to make sure everybody can hear the answers. So the first question was about whether there's a sound wall. Benjamin, do you mind going over that?
Yep. Yeah, just letting this, I'm going to zoom into that site plan a little bit. So thank you, Lauren. And to the question, there is not a sound wall proposed. A few things have occurred in that 429 is an existing condition. And so it would be upon this project to put one in and not upon the Department of Transportation. And also we wanted to balance the need of visibility and brand identity for the Westside campus versus that sound wall. And also we can see here a little bit in let me go back to my laser pointer, if it will pop up. I guess I can't do my laser in the Zoom. That's unfortunate. That 429 is actually several feet above, I'd say even 10, 15 feet above our site itself on a berm. And so the noise will dissipate above us. And lastly, really, the robust construction of our walls and our windows will mitigate any remaining sound. And also the construction yards are relatively noisy themselves. thinking of those construction trades. So that's, all within concert of the decision not to install a sound wall was really the balance of that high visibility and welcoming approach from that need.
Gotcha. And before we go on to the next question, I did want to welcome Commissioner Christine Moore. I saw she hopped on, and Commander Jamie Alberti is also on the call. Mr. Hollubeck, who asked the question about the sound walls, and there was just a question how to ask questions. So Benjamin, do you mind popping to that last slide to show people how to ask questions? That's a good point. I didn't have that up for since the beginning. So let's go to that so people can see it. So the preferred way to ask questions is the Q&A. If you can't get your Q&A to work, chat's okay. So on the screen, you should see some instructions for how to find your Q&A. We are definitely open to questions, so feel free to just type them right in. And like I said, if you can't get your Q&A working, just send us a chat message. Okay, so Mr. Hollubeck was also concerned that the removal of trees sounds like too much. I do want to note that we don't on our plan show the trees. So Benjamin, if you could, sorry to make you zoom back in again, but if you could show where we're keeping trees, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah. Yep. Again, so this large, massive land here, just to the upper side of the main entrance here. That can you see my hand moving around too, or is that good? Can you see the hand itself?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. I think yeah. And so this large area of a grove of trees here is to maintain or be maintained. This where it says marquee sign, again, this large swath here of land, those trees will remain. And then this entire tract down here, just to the bottom side of the gravel fire truck access, all the way down to the property line will be maintained as well. And then, so the main removal of tree would be through the extent of the parking, this loop, and then back through the visitor parking. There is a need to mitigate water management, right? And so the regrading of the dry pond and wet pond would also mean the removal of the trees there. So 3 large main areas do remain, and that's really part of that sustainable initiative too, is to let the natural habitat be best where we can, while performing, I think balancing the needs of the campus.
Great, thank you. There's a question about where to find these slides. So these slides are actually online now. You can find them at facilities.ocps.net on the right rail. You can also find them at ocps.net under School Board on Board Member Melissa Bird's page. So the presentation is already linked there. If you're interested in the verbal part of the presentation, this meeting is being recorded, and the completed video will be posted on the Facilities Communications YouTube page, which I'm sure you're asking, where is that? An email will go out once it's posted to everyone who registered for this meeting. So you will get a direct link to that after the meeting. There had been a question about the bike path, and it is being maintained, and there will actually be an entrance from the bike path to campus. And then there was somebody who had asked about, the old campus, and I'd mentioned that we are going to come back on that in a separate meeting in November. There's a question, is there a possibility of building a 2-story parking garage and saving more trees? Can we explain a little bit about cost constraints and why we wouldn't have looked at something like that? Or if we did, someone can correct me.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to speak there, Lauren, or if Tom or Chris John's on from Morton Smith. But yeah, certainly parking garages are quite costly versus surface parking. And so that's just really cost prohibitive. And so we really like to put the money toward student spaces, right? Really focus on opportunities for education and the needs of the student, faculty, and staff members of the campus. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but anywhere from 4, 6, 8, 10 times the cost to go into a parking garage for that. So
Okay, thank you. And I did want to point out also that this campus has fewer parking spaces than we would see like at a high school, for example. So you're actually preserving a lot more trees than most campuses do.
Yeah.
Commissioner Moore asks, how will security be handled with the gate along the trail and Ocoee High School? Good question. I don't know if we've figured that out operationally yet. Melanie, is it too soon to know how that's going to operate? Or I don't know if that's been discussed yet.
I would defer to Alberti.
Okay, Commander Alberti, has that been looked at yet, or is there a standard
No,
protocol for things
actually,
like that?
I'm glad it was brought up because that is also one of my concerns. I'm not really sure if there's fencing along that line, because that's anybody can walk through that bike trail area. So I was kind of curious to see what's going on with that area.
Okay, we'll have to take a look at that on the OCPS side and get a little more solid answer, and we'll bring that back at the 100% design meeting. Good
Yeah,
question.
Lauren, I would just mention that, anything that high school has today is not impacted from our side, right? We're not, that's not our intent to reconfigure any security from the Ocoee High School. So our pathway starts on our side of on the trail. So.
Okay, and Commissioner Moore also asks, I believe Ocoee Apopka Road will eventually be widened. Do you think that will present any issues? Would that be like a Rick or a Jay question, please?
I think so. We got to get the civil guys in. So.
Jay, Rick, come on, somebody help us out here.
Trying to get turned on here. Sorry.
Okay, I hear you,
So
Jay.
this is related to the entrance?
The question is just whether Ocoee Apopka Road being widened will impact or cause problems with our site in any way.
Well, the only widening on Ocoee Apopka that we're aware of is at the intersection with Fuller's Cross. That is a intersection improvement that's being done between Orange County government and city of Ocoee. As far as at our entrance, we are doing a left turn lane and a right turn lane, and those are going to basically widen the road similar to other intersections up and down Ocoee Apopka Road. So that'll actually help. That'll improve allowing traffic to continue to go through.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Panelists, are you seeing any questions that I've missed? Sometimes there are questions that come straight to you that I don't necessarily see. Look and see if
I saw a question, Lauren, about is there any discussion of doing a 2-story parking garage so we could possibly save more trees?
Yeah, I think that it was a cost issue that in order to stay within budget. Benjamin, am I summarizing it right? That it would have meant loss of student spaces, so we had to focus there.
Correct.
Fair.
Right.
Oh, I do see a question about
in
public transportation.
regards to accessible public transportation.
Thank you, Tamara. I just saw that at the same time, and I do see a couple questions that just came in also just now. So that is a great question. I don't know
And
if
the answer to
anyone
that is yes.
Yes.
It is accessible?
Yes.
Yes. We have been in communications with Links, and they will be coming on campus.
I think we actually marked that on the site plan, don't we? Can we go back to the site plan and show where the bus stop is?
Yep.
It would be the same bus loop as the OCPS bus loops. Links was going to, we were designing that bus loop around the same size of the Links. So it would be the same yellow triangle as the OCPS buses. That's where the discussion is today with Links.
Okay, to have the stop be at that yellow triangle. Okay, I'm going to read Mr. Rivera's question now. Myself and hundreds of other residents live in the preserve at Crown Point community. What is being done to minimize trips along the neighborhood entrance on Ocoee Crown Point? There will now be this school, Ocoee High School, and a future elementary school on that road. What is being done to mitigate those trips on that road? In addition, are there any future roadway improvements for Ocoee Crown Point? And when is the road extension being done for Ocoee Crown Point? So I don't know what order we want to tackle those in. Maybe the Ocoee Crown Point questions first. I don't know if our team knows.
Yeah, I can talk to that, Lauren, if you want.
Okay, let's start with that.
So as you can see on the screen right now, what we are doing as part of the project is extending Ocoee Crown Point from Fuller's Cross, also known as East Crown Point. That's going to come in towards our school site and terminate at our driveway entrance. The link in between, which on the graphic is a dashed yellow line, that's all subject to when the city of Ocoee wants to fund and extend the rest of that road. That is not under our project, and it's not an OCPS responsibility, if you will. So I think the answers related to the extension of Crown Point, that would be a city of Ocoee response. As far as additional trips, because that link is not connected, the current project that we're doing would, obviously you can't get there from internal to the neighborhood where Ocoee Crown Point is right now. And any future improvements related to mitigating the trips as a whole will be something that the city of Ocoee would be addressing.
And I do know that Mike Rumor from Ocoee is on the phone, but there's not really a way to tell which caller he is, unfortunately. So I can try to kind of unmute the callers and see if he needs to say anything. Christopher, I don't know if you're in touch with him to know if he wants to speak, but if he does, we can figure that out. Also, I'd like to point out that in terms of mitigation, this is a site that we are working with Lynx to have a bus go there. It has a bike path and it has a connection to Ocoee High School. So it has, really good access in other ways than just, single person cars. I think that tackles all the questions in there for that. Okay. If you have any other questions, anybody else, please do go ahead and put them in. And if anybody else sees anything I missed, please let me know. Oh, wait, I think I see a few new ones. Okay. The size of the acceleration and deceleration lanes on Ocoee Apopka Road. Okay, I think by size, the question is how long they are, perhaps. Can we explain a little bit more about the acceleration and deceleration lanes and like where they're going to stop and start?
We do have that on the plans. I don't have what the actual distance is memorized, but I can certainly get that information and get it back to you, Lauren.
Okay, that sounds good. And Mr. Hollowbeck, I have your contact information. So when I get that exact measurement, I can share it with you. And we have a question from Mr. Rivera. There was an old Ocoee PUD done for Crown Point. Is this school within the trips that were vested in the old PUD? My understanding from what Jay said is that there isn't direct access from there to the school, but okay. And I am hearing, okay. I want to try to figure out a way to get Mike Rumor to respond. So I'm going to try something. Bear with me for a moment. Okay, Mike, can you try to talk and we can see if we can hear you?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Fabulous. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mike's
let me give a little history. Yeah, this tract of land is not just a raw piece of land that the OCPS found recently in order to develop this campus. This is a part of a partnership between the city of Ocoee and Orange County Public Schools. It's the Crown Point PUD. There was a number of tracts and development plans as part of this plan unit development. This tract specifically had 2 permitted uses in it. With the approval of the plan unit development, there's a table of traffic improvements, the extension of Crown Point Parkway, the creation of Crown Point Parkway, turn lanes, right-of-way dedications. All of the improvements have been made transportation-wise to date based on the development of the tracts within the plan unit development. So this tract being developed, the trips are already considered and the transportation improvements shown are considered. There's just one little variance from that. The access onto Ocoee Apopka Road has shifted down south a little ways. So to reiterate, Yes, the trips are taken into account, as are the improvements. With the
Thank you.
extension of the Ocoee Crown Point Parkway, as Jay had stated, the school board will be constructing within their track from the East Crown Fuller's Cross Road up to their entrance. That falls within the tract of OCPS. Going to the west, around to the high school, are tracts owned by the city of Ocoee. Included in the development of the road, OCPS will have to run to the high school and connect water and sewer. And while that work is being done, the city of Ocoee is going to try to tag team and finish the paving of an extension of the Ocoee Crown Point Parkway, since they will be doing work within the right of way. And then lastly, I just do want to state that the trees within this PUD are planted pines, and so there is some expectation that the pines would be thinned out over the years, as the city of Ocoee has recently done. And so just kind of keep in mind, a lot of the trees you are seeing are planted pines. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. And one last question, just to clarify for the person who asked about it, the dashed yellow line part, would that be completed at the same time as this project, or would it be later?
As we have been working on this project for a number of years, and it has, in a sense, resurfaced, and we are hearing concrete dates from the school board, we will work to see their construction schedule and provide the ability to finish that road extension at that time. That is our best hope. We're going to try to get that done.
Thank you so much for clarifying. We have a question from Ms. Cuevas. Would there be a security booth where the connection is between Ocoee High School and OTC to ensure safety of the high schoolers? I don't know that we would typically put a security booth on, like kind of at a bike path like that, but let's have some folks who know more than I do comment on that, either on the DLR side or Jay. Is that anything like that in the plans at this point?
Not on our side, I would say, Lauren. That again, this campus being of higher education, anything east of this to our bike path, east of bike path to our site is open. Our security then starts at the building perimeter. That is not, again, to modify or impede any of the current security measures of the high school. So that is, again, our definition of that bike path really divides the projects, right? High school has its security in place, its connection. Ours is a public access as a institution of higher education.
Okay, gotcha. I'm just trying to see if we answered this question. Okay. With the extension being made, are any widening/improvements being made to Ocoee Crown Point Parkway? It will now need to accommodate a high school, this school, and future elementary school, and is currently only 2 lanes by the neighborhood entrance. Mike, if you're still on the line, is that one that you can address? I think that's kind of part of what we were talking about. Or if anyone else can help.
I can address that.
Great, thank you.
Yes, so as part of the plan unit development and the roadway improvements and the how Ocoee Crown Point Parkway looks today, all of the trips for the high school, the track that's in question, the future elementary school, the subdivision tracks, preserve at Crown Point, and there are other parcels that are not joining this on the other side of the 429. Those trips and those improvements are set. So Ocoee Crown Point Parkway will stay in the horizontal look that it has. It'll just be extended to Fuller's Crossroad.
Gotcha.
It will not be widened.
So is what you're saying that those trips were already accounted for in the design, essentially?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Yeah, because this was already like planned years ago. Okay.
And in a way, this proposed use is sort of a de minimis from what the tract had approved early on in the 2000 plan unit development approval.
Do you mind explaining that a little bit more, just for the folks who don't know what that means?
Yes, that means the program at the time of the plan unit development for this track had two approved uses, one being townhome, one being a bus depot. And with that, there was an associated number of trips and a type of a trip, a PM, AM, and a PM, and a peak AM trip and a peak PM trip. And we've looked at this and feel that this type of a school is not only a different type of trip, but will also generate less overall trips than if this parcel or track were to develop out to its potential under the previous PUD allotment.
Gotcha. And something that Benjamin had pointed out earlier is that since it's not a traditional high school on a traditional high school schedule, it doesn't have that same, rush in the morning and in the afternoon, when everyone's coming in and out, because they don't all come in and out at the same time. I think this next one's going to be for you too, Mike, so don't go. With the extension being made, are any widening / improvements? Oh, I think we already answered this. Sorry. Next question, how will the Ocoee Crown Point extension to Fuller's Cross cross the bike trail? How will the Ocoee Crown Point extension to Fuller's cross over the bike trail?
That is a good question. That crossing will have to be coordinated with Orange County Parks and Rec and their Trails Division. So as Jay will be designing on that extension road a utility extension to go underneath the trail, we will parallel be meeting with Orange County Parks and Trails in order to say we want to finish paving the curbing and sidewalks of this road, and what do we need to do? And it'll be permitted through Orange County Parks.
Okay, and we will be having another meeting before construction begins. So some of these things that are a little bit less solid, we'll know more at the point of the meeting that we're probably going to have in May, because at that point the design will be complete and construction will be about to start. So we're going to need to know at that point. Are there any additional questions? Okay, if there aren't any additional questions, are there any closing remarks from, Commissioner Moore? I don't know if you wanted to speak. Yes, okay. You should be able to unmute yourself.
I just want to go back. I appreciate School Board Member Byrd taking this project over the finish line. I just wanted to bring a little bit of context when this started back a number of years ago. And Ocoee may jump in if I don't get this correct, because it was really a lot of their vision of this PUD and having some sort of educational facility at this site. And there was a economic development study done by the city of Apopka, Ocoee, and Winter Garden. And one of the things that it noted, and this was probably back in 2014, the D'Angelo study, that what we were really missing in this area was an institution of higher living, higher education. And so at that time, the city of Ocoee approached the school board about potentially relocating the Orange Technical College Westside campus here. So it's really exciting for me to be out here today and see what you've all done with it since that time, and the multimodal opportunities for students, accessing, whether they're coming down the 429, they're coming on a bike, or even the links. And I know the links will probably still be a little bit of a challenge, for us moving forward. So congratulations on getting this over the finish line, and really the original vision for this being here. All the credit really belongs with the city of Ocoee. So congratulations to them as well.
Okay, School Board Member Byrd, do you want to close us out?
Yes, thank you, Lauren, and thank you, Commissioner Moore, for that background. It's always nice to kind of see the big picture, right? Yeah, and it especially fills you with pride when you realize that this is a bigger vision, for this community, for the city of Ocoee, and the partnership that came about to make this happen. So I'm extremely excited. This is going to be a very unique a unique site with this high school and this higher learning and the technical college all together. It's going to do great things for the community. I'm very excited about it. Thank you to everyone for the presentation tonight, for sharing your vision with us, and thank you, Melanie, for your work in planning this building the way it is, working with them to help plan it. I think it's going to be just a fantastic learning space for our adults and our kids. So great stuff. Thank you all for coming and being a part of our meeting tonight. We really do appreciate it.
Hey, fantastic. Thanks so much. This is not the only time to ask questions. If you're watching this later and still want to ask a question, feel free to shoot it my way. My email is lauren.roth, lauren.roth@ocps.net. And we will come back with more firm plans at the 100% design construction kickoff meeting in the late spring or early summer. So thanks all for spending your evening with us. And thanks for your flexibility in going to virtual for this meeting. And we'll see you all again soon.